Bach.
Here.
Jameson. Karski.
Here.
Rolfing.
Here.
Staggers.
Present.
Aguilar.
Here.
Anderson. Entenmann.
Thank you very much. We start our meetings here in Sioux Falls with an invocation, with a prayer. And a gentleman who helps us with that often is Dr. Ron Tottingham. It's good to have you back, Doctor. Thank you. He is with the Empire Baptist Temple here in Sioux Falls. What we'd ask you to do is to stand. We'll receive that prayer, and then we'll continue with our Pledge of Allegiance. Dr. Ron, welcome back.
Our Heavenly Father, thank you tonight for your blessings. Thank you for giving us the privilege of living in one of the greatest towns there are. And thank you for the folks that are around this table who give their lives and time to make it that way. And I pray tonight that you would bless them and overshadow them and give them guidance, that they might ultimately glorify the Lord Jesus Christ above all things. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Polly, would you come forward, please? And Polly, do you want to bring everybody? Come on up. Let's create a little memory here, shall we? Love it. How are you doing? Great, great. Take your time, be safe. Nice to have you back. He's fine. Take your time. Well, good evening to everybody. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. And what I'd like to do is read a proclamation on behalf of all the people of our town. And why don't I start that? Whereas the health and well-being of all children throughout our city are of paramount importance to the Sioux Empire families and communities. Whereas thousands of children are born with birth defects every year, including approximately 40,000 children in the United States who begin life with one of more than 35 identified forms of congenital heart defects. Whereas congenital heart defects are among our city's most common birth defects, and they are often fatal due to their seriousness, a lack of effective medical intervention options, and the limited availability of infant donor hearts. Whereas the origins and symptoms of congenital heart defects are becoming more readily identifiable, and the range of surgical options are expanding continuously thanks to doctors and scientists, their diligent research efforts and field experiences that extend our body of knowledge every single day. Whereas there's so much to learn about the causes of and effective treatments for congenital heart defects. And it is important for parents, pediatricians, and nurses to recognize those warning signs that are associated with congenital heart defects among newborns so that they may provide proper treatment as early as possible. Whereas many of the Sioux Empire families and communities are directly or indirectly affected by infant illness and death caused by congenital heart defects. And I applaud the efforts of doctors and scientists everywhere who are working diligently to solve life's medical mysteries and to improve the quality of life for us all. Now, therefore, I am the proud mayor of this town. I am. And I'm blessed by representing all the people. And I am Mike Huther. I am the mayor. And I'm going to proclaim this week, February 7th through the 14th, as Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week in the Sioux Empire, and I call this observance to the attention of all citizens. Polly, all of you, thanks for being here today. You're helping to bring attention to some of the challenges that God has presented to you and to your families, and that's a big, big deal. We need to do more of that. So thank you for doing this, and would you mind giving all of these young people and all these great people a round of applause. Thank you. Did you have any words, Paul? Anybody?
I just wanted to, would you mind if I just kind of have each family kind of introduce their kid and what their defect is? Is that all right? Okay. So I'm Polly Ramus. I'm one of the group coordinators for Mended Little Hearts of the Sioux Empire. And we've been an organization for the past 7 years, and kind of began when my son Ethan was born 9 years ago with a congenital heart defect called transposition of the great arteries. We ended up flying to Michigan and spent 6 weeks in Michigan where Ethan had open heart surgery and has been medication free as of the year, well, he was about 2 years old. He's been medication free, and hopefully no further surgeries, but he does have some heart problems that we still go to Sanford Castle to have looked at every year.
I'm Carrie Ranke, and Dylan is our heart child. She was born with a VSD, or a hole in her septum wall. When she was 2, she had it surgically repaired in Minneapolis. At age 6, she was diagnosed with a failing aortic valve, and at age 8, we also went to Michigan, where she underwent the Ross procedure to repair and replace her aortic valve. And we're probably not done with our surgical road yet, but currently she is also medication-free and living the healthiest she has ever lived before.
Hi, my name's Sherry Long, and I'm one of the group coordinators for Mended Little Hearts. And this is my son, Gabriel Long, and he is 7 years old. He has transposition of the greater arteries as well. We went to Michigan and had open heart surgery, and hopefully he hasn't been on medication since 6 months after he was born, so hopefully no other surgeries for him either.
I'm Angela Danielson. This is my son Matthew, and he had surgery when he was a year and a half old for a PDA, which was a hole in his heart, along with a coarctation of his aorta. His aorta was growing closed. And he now has a subaortic membrane ridge that's forming, so we watch that every year. And we are one of the lucky ones. We were able to have surgery here in Sioux Falls.
Hi, I'm Jessica Schmeichel. This is Thomas Schmeichel. He's 7 now. He had his first surgery when he was about 10 days old. I think he's had about 4 or 5 surgeries at this point. His last one was when he was almost 3, I believe. And no medications. We've been very lucky with that. All of our surgeries have been in Omaha, so we haven't had to go too far for those. And right now it's just a monitor every year. He goes to see Dr. Sammy at Avera, and just see what the future holds every year for us.
My name is Jean Vargas, and this is Phoebe. She's 4. She had 3 open heart surgeries in Michigan, 7 days, 4 months, and 18 months. Her heart defect is called LTGA, which is short letters for a long name. She also has a hypoplastic left ventricle, pulmonary atresia, and a sprinkling of other things. She also has SVT, which is an abnormal heart rhythm.
Well, I thank you for being here and drawing attention to the challenges that you face. This is a big deal. You're helping all of Sioux Falls understand this, because not many of us have had to deal with these challenges. So thank you so much. Obviously, you must have a scar. How big is it? Would you mind? You don't all have to. But how big is it? Just okay. Let's turn here. So you've got a scar from here to here. Do you have one? Okay, and then there's little poke holes here. Okay, very good. So how long were you in the hospital when you had that surgery? Do you remember, Mom?
6 weeks.
6 weeks. Okay.
We came home on Thanksgiving Day, so that was a very cool, very emotional day.
That's a great Thanksgiving. Well, again, thank you so much for being here. Again, would you mind? Let's recognize these people. I don't blame you. Thank you. Council will now move to our consent agenda. Are there any motions, or would anybody
Move
like
to approve, Karski.
Second, Anderson.
Councilor Karski's made a motion to approve these items, seconded by Councilor Anderson Jr. Councilor Staggers.
Yes, I'd like to pull 3 items from the consent calendar. One is dealing with the landfill and Midwest Communications for $35,328. Another one is with the landfill, dealing with Results Radio, $40,980. And then the last one is Parks and Rec. This is for canoe access at $104,980.
Councilor Staggers, thank you. We are going to pull 3 items from the consent agenda. Thank you. And are there any other motions on these, Council? Well, very good. Then let's move forward with the remaining items with a roll call vote, please.
Council members Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed 6-0. Now we're going to move on to the next item, which is our regular agenda. Council, any changes to the regular agenda?
Move approval, Aguilar.
Thank you, Councilor.
Second, Erpenbach.
There has been a motion to approve this item by Councilor Aguilar, seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. If there is no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed 6-0. Again, folks, welcome to our meeting. This is an opportunity for you to engage the council. All we'd ask, just come forward. If you can keep your comments to 5 minutes or less, we'd appreciate that. And then just introduce yourself to the people of our town. Welcome. Anybody? Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Stacy Stahl, and I am the Girls and Youth Director at MB, which is, you may have known as the former YWCA, just across the street from here. And I am here representing this group of young women in the back here. We are all part of the Women's Leadership Program at MB. And the program this is the 3rd class of the program, so 3 years ago it was started, in an effort to give women an opportunity to learn more about being a leader and what that means for them, either in their professional lives or their personal lives. And so part of the class, part of our homework, is to attend either a city council meeting or a school board meeting to see leadership in action. So that's why we're here this evening. And then over the course of the next about 3 to 4 months, we will engage in sessions to discuss leadership styles and business ethics and all those types of things that go along with leadership. And what we all have different things that we want to get out of the program, but we all want to just learn how to better serve the organizations that we work for, the corporations that we work for, the community that we live in, and areas in which we might want to volunteer and just be better leaders. So thank you for allowing us to be here.
Well, welcome. Normally at this point in time, we're going to give you a round of applause, so I hope you don't mind. But welcome tonight. It's great to have you here. Yes.
Sure. Aspiring and future leaders, I think it'd be appropriate to probably just introduce each one of them. Probably names we'll be seeing again in the future.
Well, very good. Would you mind just introducing yourself one by one to the people of our town? Because we're going to be following you.
My name is Nicole Townswick, and I volunteer with America Dakota. I'm Carrie Yeager with Sayer Associates. I am Karen Budgignos with
TSP Architects. Alicia Schumacher of Aaron McKinnon Hospital.
Tina Lemieux, Children's Care Hospital and School. I'm Brittany Kelly. I work for Medivate.
And I am Carolyn Thurman. I work for Raven Heroes for Division.
Again, welcome. It's good to have you here. And also, there are over 50 citizen boards and committees that you can also join, and we strongly encourage you to do that. So again, good luck in your careers, and we're looking forward to finding more good stewards like you. So that's great. Welcome. Anybody else want to engage the council on any topic? Welcome, sir. Good to have you here.
My name is Keith Jungard. I'm
Hi,
citizen
Keith.
of Sioux Falls. Thank you for hearing me.
You're welcome.
I'm a pretty quiet person. I usually don't come to these. You know, I work, go to my children. I was out of town for this week in a family emergency in Arizona. One of my vehicles and another vehicle for my neighbor was towed due to the city's ordinance of 24-hour parking in front of our houses. I complied with the first officer, moved it right as soon as he came to the door, and then my emergency happened, so I had to get out of town for 4 days. I come back. I got back Sunday in time for the Super Bowl, and went inside after driving straight through for 24 hours. The next morning, I get up for work. My truck had a white envelope in the door, so I took it, threw it inside, went to work. A couple hours later, I get a call from my wife. My vehicle, which does run insured and licensed, was being towed. And then my neighbors, because they were parked on the street in front of our homes. I called the officer that originally came, and I didn't get no response from him. So I found out, to make this short story, somebody in one of the businesses by our places had called twice. They called the first time, and then they went through the computer system the second time, the officer told me on the second call. And obviously I'm being harassed, and I've never had a problem in my neighborhood. I live on Gorman Drive, which is a very clean, family-oriented place. And I've been there over a year, never have had a problem. The officer I talked to was very rude to me, basically did not care. He said, go pay your tow bill of $128.50. Okay, so I went and paid it. Went to pick up my car. It was not out of the tow yard yesterday, like they told me they would put it out on the street. So I called them, and they refused to come back to the tow yard to give me my car. So I had to make a special trip today again to get my car, which was finally there. And for some reason, it was dead. I had, I don't know if they have animals or whatever in their thing. I had mud all over my car. I went in, and they were basically not our problem. And then to top it off, nice little yellow envelope for more money from you guys. Not you personally, but the officer. Where does it stop? For one, $128.50, that's very high. I was shocked at it. I consider that being very excessive due to they have a city I guess it was Lightning Tow's contract for this week. I mean, folks, that's just outrageous. I mean, for our citizens to have to go pay that, and then I get a $30 ticket on top of it for parking in front of my house. And I originally complied with the first officer. Okay, I legally can't go after whoever's harassing me because they have not left their name. There was no name left. And I've never had a problem till last week. And I need to know what the laws are. I got one officer that first came, he said, just move it a couple feet. Another officer that was rude to me, he said, oh, no, that doesn't work. And I said, well, how many feet are we talking? And he goes, you need to move it at least 20, 30 feet. And I said, well, one officer's telling me this, one officer's telling me that. And I'm like, what are the laws for this? Now I have to worry about if I go to the hospital or if I have to go back to Arizona, are my vehicles going to be at home? I'm going to take a guess, probably not. Because I can't find who's harassing us and legally, turn it over to my attorney because there's no name. So what I'm asking is, maybe the city council can look, if you're contracting with a tow company, they charged me $20 storage fee and the car hadn't even been there a day, a few hours. They said, nope, $20 storage fee. And then they said, you guys get part of the tow fee. Okay, if you guys, the city's getting part of the tow fee, why am I paying another ticket for parking in front of my house? I mean, that's like taking my wallet. I work hard. I don't ask for public assistance at all. Yeah. I have children. I go home to. I don't break laws. Officer tells me to do something, I am on it.
Keith, first of all, thanks for bringing this to our attention. We appreciate that. What I'll do is I'll follow up on this tomorrow. Your last name again, please?
It's Jungward. It's JONGEWARD.
Okay. Keith, what I'll do is we'll follow up on this tomorrow, and then I'll bring back a report. I'll copy all of you on this as well, so we'll all see it at the same time. All right? Keith, thank you again for bringing this to our attention. We appreciate it. And we are going to get back to you with some answers so that you'll have a better understanding of what the policy is. And then what we'll probably do is maybe we'll even announce it to the people of Sioux Falls in some way so that they also will know the policy, because they're going to be intrigued. We have a number of people who watch this, and so we'll bring that back as well. So thank you, Keith.
Yeah, and one more thing. If we could take and work on, like, okay, I paid a fine, but I also don't want to keep double dipping.
Keith, we got that too. Okay. Yep, got that all. What we'll do is we'll follow up on, I took notes on your comments, so we'll provide feedback on all the things that you've discussed tonight, and then I'll also report that back to the council as well.
I thank you for your time.
You're welcome, Keith.
You have a great night.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Urbanbach.
I just thought Mr. Jungworth might want to give Mr. Cooper his phone number to make it easier for you, and so we don't say it on TV.
That sounds great.
Give your phone number to Mr. Cooper privately, then that would make this just a little easier.
And Mike, could you get his email address too as well? Thank you. Folks, anybody else want to engage the council on any topic? And they don't have to all be nice. They can be challenging ones. So anything? Very good. Well, thanks again for your comments. We appreciate that. Let's now move on to those items that Councilor Staggers wanted to discuss. And there were three of them. Why don't we bring up Public Works first, or landfill? Thank you. Councilor Staggers, go right ahead.
Yes, it looks like we have about $75,000 for advertising. And can you explain what's going on with the $75,000?
Sure, Councilor Sager. My name is Bob Capel. I'm the environmental manager with City of Sioux Falls. The city's Public Works Department has many programs that we are involved in that we need public participation to make them a successful program. We have been partnering with media outlets for many, many years to advertise, to help educate the public about these programs to assist us. This year we are going out with 2 agreements with Midwest Communications. They are a major radio contract here in the region, and also with Town Square or Results Radio for radio communications to advertise our programs.
What kind of programs? Are you talking about the landfill and
sure,
recycling and
sure.
things, or
Sure.
are you using that figure again?
Yeah,
I can't remember the name.
Yeah, exactly. We have many programs, Councilor Staggers, and all of these programs have come through the City Council, or that are programs that we do have. The funding that we are using for this advertisement has been pre-approved through the budget process, through the city council. These programs are in the major areas are sustainability, water resources, and then we also spend quite a bit of resource on our hazardous materials program and biohazards within the community. So those are the three primary programs. And this year we are starting 3 new programs that we're going out to the public, and we're really going to try and emphasize to get the public participation in. And it's a pet waste program. And if you recall, we have a major significant problem with bacteria loading on the Big Sioux River. It's not meeting its designated uses, so the public can't use it for what it was designated for. So the pet waste program will help us try and reduce bacteria into the Big Sioux River to help us meet the water quality standards of the state. So those are just some examples that we're going to be expending those resource dollars on.
If I could just ask a question that just came across my mind with one of your comments about the pet waste program.
Yes.
We have Spencer Dog Park near the Big Sioux River.
Mm-hmm.
Is that contributing to the pollution in the Big Sioux?
It may. Matter of fact, we are going to be working with the Parks Department to, they currently have a program in place where people that use the dog parks are supposed to be picking up the waste that are using the parks. But we're going to be putting emphasis on that because it really comes down to an educational scheme for the public. If they aren't aware, they shouldn't be picking it up. Some don't. So,
okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Councilor, thank you as well. There was another item involving Parks and Rec. Don, would you mind coming forward? Thank you. Councilor Staggers?
Yeah, this one I'm very surprised about, $104,980 for canoe access. And the reason I'm really surprised about it is because when I was younger, I canoed all the time. And it didn't have any problem, pulling the canoe up over a bank or whatever the case might be. And now spending $104,000 for a canoe access, that's the equivalent of having the property taxes of 40 modestly priced homes in Sioux Falls. Why are we doing this?
Part of, Don Kearney, Director of Parks and Recreation. Part of our river enhancement and access program that we've got in place, we work cooperatively with Game Fish and Parks as well as the South Dakota Canoe and Kayak Association about trying to enhance access to the Big Sioux River, whether it be for canoeing or kayaking or even emergency response. We're trying to make those primary canoe launch areas. This happens to be for 2 different canoe launch areas. One is at Rotary Park, and the other one is at adjacent to the old Yankton Shell Bridge, about 57th and Western. And one of the challenges, if you probably remember, is that when you get in to launch your canoe, you can sink into mud pretty deep. And so one of the things that we're trying to do is enhance the functionality and the experience for launching your canoes in both of those areas.
I guess I would wish that the $104,000 we spent on helping to clean up the river, because once again, canoeists, they don't have that big a deal of, canoeing and getting their canoe out of the water and things like that. I mean,
yeah, it really is.
$104,000, it just seems excessive.
Yeah, it really is driven by feedback that we receive from people that do canoe that they would like to have some enhanced access at both of those locations.
Yeah, because I canoed on the Big Sioux right here in Sioux Falls. I was able to do it.
Councilor, thank you very much. Good discussion, good questions. Council would...
Move approval, Rolfing.
Councilor Rolfing's made a motion to approve these 3 items. It was seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. If there is no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
No.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Thank you. That has passed 5-1. Item 19.
Item 19 is a transfer of a 2014 retail liquor license including Sunday sales from One Sag LLC Toppers, 1213 North Cliff Avenue to Sanford Frontiers, Sanford Pentagon, 2210 West Pentagon Place with special use permit 2013-1213. being approved on January 8th, 2014. Item 20 is a special one-day liquor license for the History Club of Sioux Falls to be operated at 758 South Phillips Avenue for a building fundraiser on December 6, 2014.
Good evening, Jamie Palmer with licensing. I don't really have anything to add other than just to remind you that the security management plan was forwarded to you and made available to you on the electronic agenda for item 19. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Move to approve, Erpenbach.
Second, Rolfing.
Councilor Erpenbach has made a motion to approve these two items, seconded by Councilor Rolfing. Councilor Anderson, Jr.
On 19, Jamie, one question. Sorry, I couldn't let you get away. Do they have any other licenses, like a beer license or something, as they're selling their liquor license? So,
Are you talking toppers?
yes.
At this time, no.
Okay. Thank you.
Council, very good. There's a motion, and it has been seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Council members Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
That is passed 6-0. Item 21.
Item 21 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, setting the regular city election date for Tuesday, April 8th, 2014, and authorizing a joint election with the Sioux Falls School District number 49-5.
Hi, Lori Hugstead, City Clerk's Office. This ordinance is second reading, and it covers really 5 areas regarding elections. Of course, as Tamara read, this would be to set our election date for April 8th. The second one would be to authorize us to join our election with the school district. For their position, they will have one position for school board. This will also declare the entire city as one precinct, which we need to do as we're utilizing vote centers. This would authorize our publications, and last but not least, it would allow me to state that the various forms that I prepared based on the state law, et cetera, for the financial disclosure statements are those that will be adopted for this election. I'd be happy to answer questions, but I would love a yes vote on this.
Thank you, Lori. Before we move on, did anybody in the audience want to speak to this item? Council?
Move approval, Aguilar.
Second, Karski.
Councilor Aguilar has made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Karski. If there is no discussion on roll call vote, please.
Council members Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
That is passed 6-0. Item 22.
Item 22 is an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at West 85th Street and South High Cross Trail from the AG Agricultural District to the RS2 Residential District, petition number 2013-11-4, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls.
Mike.
Good evening. I'm Mike Cooper, representing City Planning and Building Services. This is a petition submitted by Steve Van Buskirk, and as we saw in the agenda, this is property that's just over 22 acres, located south of West 85th Street and east of High Cross Trail, part of what we call the Pinewood Addition. This particular area is proposed to be developed into approximately 50 single-family residential lots.
Michael, thank you. Folks, again, this is a second reading, so you have the opportunity to engage the council if you're interested. Anybody else want to talk about this? Council?
Move approval, Karski.
Second, Erpenbach.
Councilor Karski would like to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. If there is no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed 6-0. Thanks, Mike. Item 23.
Item 23 is an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at Southwestern Avenue and West Black Rock Circle from the RS1 Residential District to the RC Recreation Conservation District, petition number 2013-12-1, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls.
This item is application by Costello Investments. This particular area is located on Southwestern Avenue and just north of Black Rock Circle. We have been working with the owners of this area to replat and now rezone of this area that's just under 9 acres so that we can eventually take ownership of this drainage way, this major drainage way, that the city would then be responsible for future maintenance. This has been an ongoing process because we've been not only working with Costello Investments, but also the other adjacent residential property owners. So at this point, we're ready to move forward with the rezoning, which is kind of the final step in the process so that we can then take ownership of this major drainage way.
Thanks, Mike. Would anybody want to engage the council on this topic? Councilor Karski.
Quick question, Mike. Who initiated the request to do this? The
city.
The city did.
Yes.
And once we own it, is that up to who to maintain it? Parks or?
Parks Department does the mowing.
Okay.
We also do weed control, noxious weed control. And then through Public Works, we maintain the actual drainage channel as part of our overall city storm drainage system.
Thank you.
Councilor Staggers.
Yes, Mike, you just mentioned mowing. In recent years, we've changed our philosophy about mowing these kind of areas. Are we going to mow this area for sure, or are we going to let it grow naturally?
Yeah, the drainage ways we don't mow, except maybe on the edges where it's adjoining a street right away or a residential property. But the goal is to keep it as natural as possible because it actually acts as a filter to the stormwater runoff before it gets into the aquifer or the river.
Thank you.
Councilor Karski, or Councilor Rolfing, sorry.
Sorry, Councilor Karski.
Positive. Councilor Rolfing.
Mike, how are, on the mowing, how are they going to have get in there?
Well, we have access easements, but again, in this case, it's going to be pretty much natural.
Okay.
The property owners that are adjacent can mow it if they want to, but the city will not be required to mow it.
Well, yeah, but we're going to mow part of that. I mean, to keep it.
Again,
that's what the policy is right now, as I understand it, correct? Not to mow it at all?
Is not to mow unless it's along the edge of a street right away or there's other reasons we would have to mow a strip adjacent to some other private land.
I'm just concerned with it being as landlocked as it is. I can see maybe off of Western there we could get to it if we needed to. Okay, thank you.
Councilor Karski.
One more thing, if I could. I can see where this could be problematic. Do the landowners know that are adjacent that our standards for mowing might be different than what we require from them when it's private property? Do they know what they could be looking at?
Yeah, because this, we've been dealing with this for some time through our code enforcement process, and it has been left natural, but the big issue in the past has been the nuisance weeds and thistles, so that we'll have better opportunity now to take care of that.
Move to approve, Karski.
Second, Rolfing.
Councilor Karski has made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Rolfing. If there is no further discussion, roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed 6-0. Item 24.
Item 24 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at East 69th Street and South Bonson Avenue from the RS2 Residential District to the RD Residential District, petition number 2013-1211, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls.
The applicant for this item is Jeff Vavra with Epic Homes. This parcel of land is just over 1 acre in size. The applicant is proposing to divide it into 4 lots that will be developed with rental townhome units of between 12 and 16 total units on the 4 lots. And the site is just to the west of a future elementary school that's been acquired by the Harrisburg School District, the land.
Thanks, Mike. Would anybody want to speak to this item? Council?
Move to approve, Erpenbach.
Second, Aguilar.
Councilor Erpenbach has made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Aguilar. If there's no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed 6-0. Item 25.
Item 25 is an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at South Marion Road and West 26th Street from the Lake Park Planned Development District to the C2 General Commercial District Petition Number 2013-1215 and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls.
The applicant for this rezoning is Steve Van Buskirk. This property consists of just over 72.8 acres. It's been commonly referred to in recent years as Lake Lorraine. On the east side is Interstate 29. The west side is Marion Road. We have gone through a number of development proposals of this site over the years, and now Van Buskirk companies have teamed up with the owners, the Friesen family, to come up with another proposed development plan that's probably about as exciting and innovative as we've seen in quite some time. It's going to be a mixed-use development with a combination of commercial, office, and residential, as well as recreational uses. And as you kind of go around the lake, the concept plan indicates that on the north side, there'll be retail uses, and then on the east side, hotel on the north side, resort area, retail uses on the east side and west, and then as we transition to that southwest area would be more of the residential development opportunities. And I think we have another graphic that shows this as well. This again is very innovative, and Mayor, I don't know if you want to have the applicant come up and spend a couple minutes talking about this in more detail, but I think this is a pretty big deal for the Sioux Falls community, and obviously we're in support of changing this zoning. The challenge for us, quite honestly, was under our current zoning ordinance of coming up with something that would fit this mixed-use development. And that's probably about as much as I should say on that issue, but the Planning Commission has recommended approval of this, and again, the applicant is here tonight if they would like to spend a couple minutes talking about this in more detail.
Steve or Mike or team, would you want to discuss this a little bit? It is something that we've not seen before in our town, so would you educate us? You're already exciting us, but now educate us. Stephen, welcome.
Good evening, Steve Van Buskirk, 5800 South Remington Place. Thanks for having us tonight. I'm here on behalf of Cindy Friesen and mine and her sister Patty and my brother Mike and Spencer Ruff. We've all been working very hard on getting this all put together, this concept put together. Just kind of, Mike did a good job of presenting what we're thinking for this site. We're pretty excited about it. We think it's a very unique opportunity for the City of Sioux Falls. I just kind of amazed every time I even pull up Google Maps. This lake is so big that I can see it pop up on Google Maps. So we've got something significant. We're close to the Empire Mall is kind of one of the things that we talked about as we got this concept put together, and it's an opportunity for a greenfield development. Along. We can't do that along 41st Street anymore, which is very full of retail and commercial nowadays. In fact, we're starting to see tear downs and buildings get rebuilt down there. So this is a new greenfield development. Physically just a half-mile away. We're going to be a little bit further away, of course, coming down Louise, and Lorraine Drive will be our main access point, but next to Lowe's in there. So we're pretty excited to have a greenfield development for national retailers, which is primarily on the east side of the property, on the right for me, hopefully maybe on your screens as well. So we're integrating things and lessons that we learned as we did the Bridges development in 57th and Western, integrating power retailers, junior boxes, box stores, more, daily retailers in there. So it's pedestrian friendly, pedestrian scale. It's going to have, people spaces, pocket parks. We want connectivity. You can see the bike trail through there. We've talked a lot about that, about coming from the south of 41st Street and some of those things going down Terry. They don't have the best access to the bike trail, so they can hopefully, I was talking to Don Carney on his way out, and trying to get a meeting set with him, but get a bike trail through here past the lake so people can view it and enjoy it, and then go on up to the bike trails, which are just north of the intersection on there in 26th and Lorraine. There's connection to be really easy. So that's what we've got planned on the east side of the lake. More of the national which we're getting started with some of that marketing here this spring when we go to the national conventions. Along the south property, bordering the next door neighbors, we've got a housing component planned in there. And then going on the west side along Marion Road, we're looking at more neighborhood type services, stuff that's similar like 26th and Marion Road, a lot of, you see the Panera, the Anytime Fitness, those types of places in there, they're pretty much full. And so, so this will serve the west side of Sioux Falls with, doctors, dentists, exercise places, those types of neighborhood services that you're very familiar with. So that'll be along Marion Road. In our Circulator Road, and then along the north side, we envision a hotel concept. We're seeing quite a few hotel projects right now, and we think this could be a wonderful place for them to take a look, because we could, the dream. We always got to have a dream. So the whole resort idea. Maybe we can tie in the use of the lake with a hotel, so we can do staycations in Sioux Falls instead of maybe going to Okoboji or something like that. So. We know that some of these things aren't going to be easy to accomplish, but this is what the concept represents, and this is what we're up to. So I don't know if there's any more questions.
Stephen, thank you. And your entire Van Busker team, thank you. Was there anybody else who wanted to engage the council? Very good. Council.
Move for approval.
Second, Erpenbach.
Councilor Anderson Jr. has made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. Yes, Councilor Karski.
I just have one question, I guess, a comment and a question. First of all, thank you and get her done. I'm excited about this. The second question, we've got a large body of water there, and I'm just curious, who owns that water? Who's responsible for cleaning it, policing it? Somebody's out there on a cold winter day with their ATV screaming around on it, or a boat out there. Who's responsible for all the activity that may happen on this body of water?
I'll give you the quick answer. It's privately owned, and it will continue to be privately owned and maintained.
Okay. Thank you.
That's a really good question. Good job, Councilor. There is no further discussion. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Approved 6-0. Item 26.
Item 26 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota rezoning property at North Ellis Road and West 12th Street from the AG Agricultural District to the RS2 Residential District, petition number 2013-1216, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls.
This is also an application by Steve Van Buskirk as part of the Cherry Lake Reserve Development on West 12th Street. There's an additional residential location that has been acquired and will be incorporated into this development plan, and this will be rezoned to accommodate that future development as part of the Cherry Lake Reserve area.
Thanks, Mike. Another second reading. Anybody, folks? Okay. Council.
Move approval, Rolfing.
Second, Karski.
Councilor Rolfing has made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Karski. If there is no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed 6-0. Item 27.
Item 27 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at West Bitterroot Street and South Meredith Avenue from the RS1 Residential District to the RS2 Residential District, petition number 2013-1217, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls.
This is the fourth application tonight for Steve Van Buskirk, so that might be a record. This property is part of the development known as Prairie Hill South, and it's northwest of 85th and Western in that general vicinity of the city. This is just over 6 acres of land area. The issue here is that these residential lots back up onto a drainage way. Under the current zoning, there's a 30-foot required rear yard. The rezoning would allow that to be reduced to 25 feet, which is actually fairly consistent with most of our single-family residential areas. And this is in support by the Planning Commission and by staff.
Thanks, Mike. Anybody want to speak to this item? Council? Councilor Anderson Jr.
The drainage ditch. Is that going to be something we'll own in the future too, or?
Is this one of ours? Yes. This will be a city-owned drainage way. Yes.
Thank you.
Councilor Karski.
Don't know the topography out there, Mike. With reduction of the backyards, I mean, is there enough slope there if there's water that we're not going to be having homes flooding?
Yes, we're still preserving the drainage way border or easement, so it will not affect that. But again, because of the depth of the property, it will allow more of the site to be buildable, but it doesn't change the border or the boundary lines of the actual drainage way itself.
Councilor, thank you. Council, would anybody want to make a motion to approve this item?
Move to approve, Karski.
Second, Anderson.
Councilor Karski has made a motion to approve this item. It was seconded by Councilor Aguilar. If there is no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing? Staggers?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Thank you. That has passed 6-0. Item 28.
Item 28 is a resolution deferred from the City Council meeting of January 21, 2014, a resolution amending the future land use map as a part of the Shape Sioux Falls 2035 Comprehensive Plan, petition number 2013-1212, at the southeast corner of West 85th Street and South Tallgrass Avenue from a neighborhood employment center to a community employment center designation.
This is an application submitted by Joel Dykstra. It is at the southeast corner of 85th and Tallgrass, and it's about 64 acres of land area. First of all, I want to clarify that what we're considering tonight is an amendment to our comprehensive plan and not the zoning ordinance. It's Shape Sioux Falls 2035 plan is what we're considering tonight, and not the Shape Places zoning ordinance. The 2035 plan that you've seen before has different employment centers designated throughout the growth areas. And those employment centers are our guideline for future land use and zoning decisions and kind of help us on the scale of development. And one of the primary factors of those designations is going to be the traffic access and traffic flow. Well, in this particular case, down in the southwest area, the current designation of this intersection of 85th and Tallgrass is a neighborhood employment center. We've been working with the applicant on a more updated traffic study of this area. And as well, we've been working with the State of South Dakota Department of Transportation on future plans for a crossing of 85th Street across Interstate 29. Right now, that's scheduled for 2016. So based on the updated traffic flow and traffic analysis, what we've determined is that the access points at this intersection are going to have to be moved further back from the intersection. So in order to accommodate development with those intersections, we would like to change this designation from a neighborhood employment center to a community employment center. And that will fit better with the traffic forecast as well as the development of that surrounding area. So that's kind of a quick discussion. I don't know that you've done a land use amendment like this in recent memory, but this is an amendment to the comprehensive plan, and then the next step would be the rezoning process that would come back through for consideration. So that's a quick overview of what you're being asked to consider tonight.
Yes, Councilor Karski.
I don't know if we're going to do this before public input.
Is there any public input on this item? Very good. Thank you. Councilor?
The request to change the comprehensive plan, is that made by the same property owners that own, where you said all the setbacks will be different, the access points and all that? Do they own most of this property? Will this affect a lot more than what they own? Or is
No, this would just affect the 64 acres that are being shown tonight.
Okay, so.
Yeah, that's all that would be impacted by the amendment.
Thank you.
Councilor Rolfing.
I see a number of homes across the street there. Have we gone through the process of sending out letters and that kind of thing with them?
Yeah, they would not be affected by the amendment, but they are currently, that's an existing rural residential subdivision that's not in the city limits. And we have been discussing with them one of our future potential annexation areas.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But that, again, that development to the north would not be impacted by this amendment tonight.
Move to approve, Karski.
I'll second. Rolfing?
Thank you, Councilor Karski, and thank you, Councilor Rolfing. They've made motions to move this item forward. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Erpenbach,
Yes.
Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you. Pass 6-0. Item 29.
Item 29 is a Charter Revision Commission summary report.
David, good evening.
Good evening. Dave Fifley with the City Attorney's Office, an ex officio member of the Charter Revision Commission. Tonight we are presenting formally to the Council a Charter Revision Commission summary report. In essence, the last 14 months, the Charter Revision Commission, a 5-member board, which consists of Pauline Politis, Bob Timian, Dick Gregerson, Dee Knutson, and Dennis Annenson, have been working diligently and have had a series of 9 different public meetings to discuss essentially the 9 different sections within the charter. They've invited city council members, department directors, other city staff, members of the public to try and gather a significant amount of information in terms of how the charter works. Is there things that we should be doing better, et cetera. Through a series of 4 work sessions, the commission was able to identify 11 possible areas, and they were eventually reduced after 5 more public meetings here held in Carnegie Hall, Town Hall, with 3 different proposals that have been presented to the city clerk, and those will be on the ballot on April 8, 2014. The amendments A and B proposals are very related in that they just recognize that the date in which day of the week that the city council meets has now changed to Tuesdays from Mondays. It's just more of a housekeeping measure to allow a bit of flexibility. So terms of office for the 9 elected officials will occur sometime the 3rd week of May, whenever the city council holds their meeting. So if you change back to Monday or decide to go to Thursday or what have you, the charter will be flexible. The other item was a proposal, the first 2 items, were proposed jointly by our office and the city clerk. The 3rd item was proposed by Councilor Aguilar, and it involves the Office of City Attorney itself, where the appointment process has the term of office be a 4-year term for this appointment to match and coincide with the mayor's term of office. What would happen here is that currently the mayor is able to terminate the city attorney position at will. This would change that so that it would be a majority vote of the council would be required to approve that termination. And the language also would clarify that a majority vote of the council is needed in order to have the city attorney appointed in the first place. Right now, it says the advice and consent of the council, which I think would probably suffice. However, just as long as we were changing that section, they wanted to make it very clear that it would be a majority vote of the council. So, if you have any questions.
Councilor Aguilar, would you like to, well, you know what, is there anybody in the audience who wanted to speak to this item? Councilor Aguilar, did you want to make a motion? Or it's a resolution?
There's none needed, Mayor.
So we don't have to do anything? Okay, great. Well, David, you did a really good job.
Thank you.
Mom's proud of you.
If I could,
Mayor?
Yes.
if I could ask a
Councilor
quick
Rolfing.
question.
No.
Or Councilor Staggers, very good.
Thank you very much for the presentation on ABC amendments. And then we're going to have initiatives and referendums. Do you know when we might actually see the wording on that?
Councilor Staggers, right now we are asking the Secretary of State and also the county auditor's approval in order on how we're going to number those on the ballot. And the actual ballot language by state statute has to be approved by both the Secretary of State and the county auditors. And then also we need a drawing of the candidates listing an order, and all that will be happening around the first part of March. Lori Hogstead could tell you exactly the date. I believe it's March 7th.
But as far as you're writing up the different initiatives and referendum, is that done yet, or do you have
well, there's 2 parts to that, Councilor, in terms of the initiative or referendum. The first part of it is the language is already set in terms of If it's an initiative, it's verbatim what the petition circulation language was. You know, be it resolved by the City of Sioux Falls that whatever that initiative is. For a referendum, it's also set in terms of that, say, you know, ordinance or resolution number, what have you, being adopted, the title of it, should it be affirmed or not by the voters. The city attorney explanation is the other part of the equation. Certainly, I would have to have that approved by the Secretary of State or and the county auditors as well. And again, all that process will take place. What we're hoping for right now, I know a lot of the groups involved on either side of those ballot measures, is hoping that we give them an exact determination from the Secretary of State on how those will be numbered. What we are thinking with Clerk Hogstead is that they be in order that they came in. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then have the charter amendments be A, B, C. So that's what we're hoping. We're hoping for an answer any day now, but of course it's legislative session in Pierre, so things are a little busy up there, and we will be patient, but we're hoping for an answer very soon.
Very good. David, thank you. Well, council, meeting's almost over. Unless you've got any other topics you want to discuss?
Move to adjourn, Karski.
Second, Rolfing.
Councilor Karski's made a motion to adjourn this meeting. Councilor Rolfing has seconded that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This meeting is adjourned. MB leaders, we wish you all the very, very best. Thank you for being here tonight. Make it a great night, Sioux Falls. This meeting is adjourned.